Before we continue today's session, it is so important that we do an acknowledgement of traditional lands. Royal Road University acknowledges that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Kosapsum, the Esquimalt, and Lekwungen Songhees ancestors and families. It is with gratitude that we now learn and work here, where the past, present, and future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty, and staff come together. Welcome. So today's session, Master of Arts in Intercultural and International Communication, I am so pleased to welcome Dr. Zhenyi Li, who is the School of Communication School Director and also the MAIIC Blended Program Head. With us today, we also have Liu and Andrew Osborne, who are two MAIIC grads. And we'll be interviewing them throughout today's session, and a little bit further into the session, we'll have a question and answer with them so we can really dive into seeing firsthand experience of what the program is like. And my name is Imara Angus, and I'm an education specialist. Behind the scenes, we also have Mark, who is here to support with anything tech related. So if you need any help with using the chat, well, I guess you won't need help using the chat because you'll have to message him on the chat. But if you need any help with tech, he's your person. In addition, we also have an enrollment team monitoring the chat. So any questions at all, pop them in the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. So today's agenda, a get to know one another. I actually have a really quick poll. So if everybody can look at their screen right now, I'm going to launch a really quick poll for you. Okay, you should see a poll on your screen. And the question is, which program delivery are you interested in? And you can select the program delivery that you're most interested in. You can also select more than one depending. So the choices are on campus, blended, which is a combo of online and in-person residencies. And we'll dive into more details about these later, and not sure yet. And if you're not sure yet, that's a good reason to be here. We're gonna help you determine what the best fit for you. Okay, I'm gonna give it about 3 more seconds. So I'm gonna get you to cast your answer. Okay, I'm gonna end the poll now. And I'm gonna share the results so we can see who's in the room today. So it looks like 40% of the people here are interested in the on-campus offering. 40%, whoa, that's an even split, are interested in the blended. And then about 20% is not sure yet. Okay, thank you so much for answering that. So we're also going to do a brief overview of the Royal Roads University experience. We're going to go through program-specific information, the application process. We're going to have a question and answer with our alum, and any questions, just pop them into the chat. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we're located in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. That is where I am as well. And we're part of Vancouver Island. So we're an island right kind of off the coast of British Columbia, which Vancouver is located there. The closest other large city is Seattle in the United States. Our top 3 industries in Victoria are advanced tourism, advanced technology, tourism and hospitality, and education. And we have a really mild climate here. You can go for a bike ride almost any day of the year, beautiful hikes. We have a coastal forest. We're right near the ocean. You go for beach walks any time of the year. And it's only a few hours away if you want to go surfing. So we're really one of the mildest climates in Canada. Actually, now's a good time to check out the reactions feature. So my question for you right now, and give me a thumbs up if you've ever been to Victoria, British Columbia before. Give me a thumbs up. And if you really want to come visit and you haven't been here yet, give me a party emoji. Awesome. Okay, so we have about 4 people who have been here. We have a few party emojis. Thank you all. Wonderful. Well, if you haven't been here yet, you're in for a real treat. So here's some images of our space. So on the top left, you can see Hatley Castle. You might even recognize Hatley Castle from movies such as X-Men or Deadpool. Give me a thumbs up if you recognize Hatley Castle from that. On the top right is a picture of our Japanese garden on campus, and that's one of beautiful places to visit. On the bottom left is a Esquimalt lagoon, and it's a lagoon that you actually overlook from Hatley Castle and our campus. It's absolutely stunning. And just on the right, it's to show that we've really been teaching and learning online for over 25 years. So why explore Royal Roads University? We're going to dive into that throughout today's session, but a few things. We see life as a qualification. We understand everybody here in the room today is coming to us from different career paths, different experiences in life. And we also have a flexible admission policy that really demonstrates that we understand that we see life as a qualification. Everybody is joining us from a different place. Really big on first names first. So profs who know your name. We get to know your name very fast. You're more than a student number to us here. We care about you as the individual. And learning based on life. Just this idea that your work experience, your life experience, you use that in the classroom and you share that with your cohort. And connections for life. The people that you meet while you're at Royal Roads University, you are going to stay connected with them for the rest of your life. They're going to be your peers, your friends, your colleagues. And we were built differently here from day one. We're also a Changemaker campus, an Ashoka U Changemaker campus. And that just means that we're really big on just life-changing experiences and empowering our students to take that into the world. I'm so pleased now to welcome up Dr. Zhenyi Li to talk about the program structure of the MAIIC. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to our webinar. Whether you heard about our program through your friends or through search online, I'm really glad to tell you that this is the only one master's degree program focusing on intercultural and international communication in Canada. In addition to that, we designed this program with two purposes, as we call it. We deliver it also in a blended model, that we offer this program for those who like to pursue their PhD and become a researcher or become a professional teacher teaching intercultural communication. Like today, Joe and Andrew will share their experience. We also designed this program for mid-career professionals that they really like to practice and boost up their intercultural competence and training skills, because many of our master students, they actually come what we call from the field, from practice, that they have been dealing with intercultural situations, issues, for quite a while. And we also designed this program to blend international and domestic students so that we can enhance the learning experience. We always say what we are doing in our classroom is a kind of miniature of the world, so that our students also can learn from each other in addition from learning from their professors. I like to, let me see if I can turn to the next slide. So, or probably Emra, you can help me. Yes. So we have, in our program, we designed like we will have 12 courses for you. With each course, usually it's like 3 credits. And then we deliver those programs in a hybrid model, so that you don't, if you are attending the blended program, you don't need to come to campus all every day. I will show you when you will need to attend our what we call residency in our program. But basically, you will study about 80% of our courses online in 2 years. And to complete it with a research project or a learning project. Let's move to the next slide. So we designed and split our courses into modules, and each module is basically delivered, like a bundle of 2 courses together. And for those who hesitate, like say, oh, I cannot make such a long kind of commitment, like I don't know what's going to happen to me in the next 2 years. The good news is that we run these modules all year round, parallelly together with the MAIIC on-campus cohort, and we have identical modules. So what I'm talking about is the blended model, but then the on-campus also running module 1, but then we split them in it like kind of each half year. So what the blended model will deliver in March will, like module 1 will be delivered in the on-campus program in September. So for example, if you took module 1 and the 2 from our program, and then you need to take a break, and but you don't want to wait for too long to continue your module 3, you actually can pick up the module 3 from MAIIC on-campus program, which will require you to study on campus. But then after assemble all the 4 modules and complete the 2 anchor courses, you will obtain the master's degree program, which actually provides you a lot of flexibility. So I often compare this as like a highway with many exits and entrance, and you don't have to make a U-turn. I also would like to explain what are the anchor courses. The anchor courses will last much longer because the normal courses usually takes you for 11 weeks, but the anchor courses will take 22 or 33 weeks. And the first year anchor course is a graduate seminar where we are inviting researchers, practitioners all around the world to host guest lectures once a month. And so it's basically an immersed experience for you to connect with intercultural and international communication scholars and practitioners worldwide, so that you are fully exposed to what's happening in this world. And in year 2, if you choose a research project, that's good. If you choose a supervised learning project, that's more like a practitioner's direction. The research project is more academic, and which prepares you for your PhD. So basically, by the end of the first year, you have a sense who you want to be. If this is your what we call terminal degree, and you become a practitioner, or if this is a stepstone for your PhD study, by then you will select which anchor course in year 2 you will choose. And you may also notice we have module 4A and we have module 4B, because the demand for selecting different courses is so obvious. And we try to provide you as many different courses as possible. And so these 3 selective courses are bundled together. And we bundle 2 packages. So one's more focusing on society, and one's more focusing on sports, for example. And you don't need to worry about, which module 4 you will be able to select, because as I explained, if you prefer module 4B, and if it's not offered in the intake year of your cohort, you can select that from the MAIIC on-campus cohort. So basically, we run 4A and 4B once a year, but in different cohorts. So let's turn to the next slide. And these are the course names, so that you have basic idea where we are going to start with and what you are going to learn. Theories and practice, developmental communication, and social change. Those are the foundational courses we will start in your module 1. And then organizational communication, research method. This is module 2 to prepare you to move forward. And then we will end our year 1 by global communication and intercultural communication competence, these courses. I saw Professor Denise Uzos with us. She's going to teach you the intercultural communication competence. And we, as I said, the postgraduate seminar in intercultural settings is the anchor course for your first year. Let's move to year 2. In year 2, you will study health communication, and you will study migration and diaspora studies and social marketing. That's a bundle for module 4A. Or you will have health communication, digital and social media, and communication creativity and diversity. That's module 4B for you to select. And then you will either complete your degree with research paper in communication or with intercultural communication learning project, which you will help one or more organizations to develop their intercultural strategic communication, and it's very much practitioner oriented. Okay, let's move to the next slide. And this is one example if you are considering to apply for our March intake next year. You will start on March the 7th to finish the orientation online course in a week. And then you will join our residency courses, the first module, starting from March the 14th. And the residency will take place in almost immediately after the Easter in April. And so, and it will end the first week in May. So you will come to Victoria for 2 weeks to complete your residency course. And before the residency, we call that pre-residency, and it's a 4-week online learning. After the residency, we call that post-residency, that's another 4 week. And then in between, you will have 1 week's interval for you to arrange your travel. And also you catch up with your emails from your work and take care of your family. And after that residency courses, all the other courses you see program schedule is delivered online 100%. And you will study together with your cohort. That's a group of students join this program in the same year. And you will complete it, as I said, in 24 months. Let's move to the next slide. And I will tell you another good news is that if you think, okay, maybe the 2-year commitment is too heavy, too long, here's a quarter of our program, and we embed this graduate certificate in our MAIIC program. So let's, and we name it as Strategic Global Communication. Let's move to the next slide when you see the details of it. So it's actually the first quarter of the MAIIC program. And basically you would take the first 3 courses together with the MAIIC students. And you won't lose the credits because you took these 3, and if you like, you can convert that immediately, and you can continue together with the cohort you start with, or a year later or 2 years later, you would like to complete another 3 quarters. It's what we call that it's all the credits you already obtained, it's transferable and to your master's degree. And so that gives you also another flexibility that if you haven't decided if this is the program you like to complete, obtain the degree, you can take this graduate certificate. And also this graduate certificate is transferable to many other master's degree program at Royal Roads. And so that's the good news for you. Let's move to the next slide. And now I'd like to pass the my microphone to Andrew and Joe. Let them introduce themselves, what they are doing now, and what's their experience in our program. And feel free to ask them questions, and I will catch up with the messages in the chat box. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wonderful. Well, welcome, Joe and Andrew. I have a quick introduction that they sent me that I can read out, and then we'll dive into the question and answer. Actually, now's a great time for everybody to give them a round of applause, welcoming them onto the stage. If you want to use the reactions feature for that. Awesome, thank you. So a quick introduction, Dr. Joe Liu earned her doctorate in adult learning from the University of Calgary. Her research interests include intersectionality theory, racialized immigrants' experiences in Canada, institutional ethnography, international students, and comparative and international education. She has recently published in 9 peer-reviewed journal articles, 2 of them which won the Knowledge Mobilization Award from the University of Calgary. Congratulations. 1 book chapter and 2 book reviews. Dr. Liu is a sessional lecturer in the Department of Educational Studies at the University of British Columbia, an associate faculty in the School of Communication and Culture at Royal Roads University here, and a research coordinator of Associate Dean's Office in the Workland School of Education at the University of Calgary. Welcome, Joe. And we have Andrew here, Andrew Osborne. Since 2006, Andrew has pursued a dynamic career in international education abroad and higher education in Canada. He lived and worked as an English teacher in the Republic of Korea for many years before returning to Canada in 2011 to complete a Master's of Arts in Intercultural and International Communication from Royal Roads. So that's what we're all here to learn about. And at the University of Regina, Andrew was manager of faculty and graduate student mobility until he relocated to Vancouver to join Simon Fraser University in 2019. Currently, Andrew is a coordinator of customized graduate level academic programs at the Beatty School of Business. He also teaches intercultural communication with the Faculty of Language, Literature, and Performing Arts at Douglas College. Wonderful. Now you get to hear from the grads firsthand. So I'm going to jump to the next slide. I have a few questions prepared for both of them. Okay, so I gave an introduction, but we're going to start with Joe. Joe, if you want to tell us a bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so thank you for the introduction. So as Amara was saying, so basically I received my PhD from the University of Calgary last year, right after I graduated from the MAIIC program. So really it was a great experience. Maybe I have already jumped into the second question that MAIIC have brought me to. So as Prof. Lee was saying, I did a research when I was an international student when I was in China, thinking about studying abroad. And one program that really caught my eyes was the MAIIC program. So I did a research about the programs that are related to intercultural communication, international communication, etc., across Canada, across Canadian universities, and that was the only one that I found. And I look at the program schedule or program structure. It was really diversified. It has the academic courses, and also there are field studies. And I also read through some of the experiences from previous graduate students. So there are many field studies, field trips, so very, very kind of engaging with students. So that's why I applied for this program, and then I was lucky to get involved and get it accepted. So I was like, hooray, in China at that time. So yeah, basically I covered my 2 questions at the very beginning, the first 2. Hope that's okay.
You can cover the questions however you want to. These are just guiding questions. This is more of a conversation to just kind of share your experiences. Thank you, Joe. And now the same question to you, Andrew. Tell us a bit more about yourself.
For sure. I just love that reaction, Joe, when you were like, yay, I got into the program. I remember having that moment too. So thank you so much for inviting me here today. Since returning to Canada and after doing the master's degree at Royal Roads, I've basically had sort of a true track career. I've worked in higher education in administration in terms of as a student advisor, international student advisor, and also to study abroad advisor, manager of international student mobility, faculty and graduate mobility as well. And so I've really enjoyed that professional track of my career. And then also too, in tandem or parallel, I have enjoyed a teaching career as a sessional and now as a faculty member at Douglas College. And I think I honestly prefer the teaching. I like everything I do, but I think it's being in the classroom space that is really sort of motivates my career and provides me a lot of affirmation and enjoyment. And I think that actually this program, had I not done this intercultural communication program at Royal Roads, I may not have had this career path. I think that the two are certainly linked. And that's where I've ended up. So I started in Saskatchewan, my home province, and kind of migrated my way towards the West Coast in Vancouver. And that's where I've been for the last 2 years.
Thank you for sharing that. So Andrew, like, what drew you to Royal Roads University and the MAIIC program?
So at the time I was living in South Korea, and I had been living there for quite a while, and I know I wanted to return to graduate school. I didn't really know what to pursue, and I remember going through programs in the States and in Canada, and I was looking at journalism. I was trying to connect my interests, and I was like, yeah, journalism and international studies and area studies, and I was just kind of struggling to really kind of decide what I wanted to invest my time in. And a family friend who was a senior administration at Royal Roads University, he knew me, and I mean, he knew my interests in sort of what I might be interested in. And he passed along this program, and he said, there's this great program at Royal Roads. I looked into it. I thought, wow, this is exactly what I've been looking for, trying to make sense of, or trying to find new perspectives on this lived experience I had in Korea for so many years. And it was perfect. It absolutely met every sort of academic interest need that I had. And then as I just thought about it for like maybe a day, and then started the application process right there. And I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made.
Wow, that's really powerful. One day, and you're like, I'm ready. This is it. This is the program.
You know, I knew it was for me. That's it.
That's awesome. And Joe, I know you mentioned that you answered a bit of the question, but if you wanted to speak a bit more about what drew you to Royal Roads and the MAIIC program.
Yeah, so when I was in China, I was working as a journalist in a media company in Beijing, China for about 5 years. So, and also I've done my first master's degree in Beijing Normal University, which I was majoring in media studies. So, and my bachelor degrees was also about intercultural communication. So all like the three kind of my previous 2 learning experiences all come away along to my pursuing my second master's degree in intercultural communication. So it makes a lot of sense based on my previous work experiences and also my learning experiences. And as I said, I really wanted to pursue a program or pursue a master's degree in intercultural communication. So I did the research directly on Baidu or Google. Baidu is a Google-ish thing in China. So that's what I found. And then I read through the whole program structure. I loved it. It's really dynamic in different ways. So it includes academic courses and also practical courses. So really provides me a diversified kind of choices and options when I thinking at the end of the program. I might want to apply for a PhD, or I might want to kind of look into different industries, kind of job opportunities as well. So that's the perfect choice for me at that time. So I didn't even hesitate for a second to apply for it.
Wow. Well, both of you are very aware that that was the right program. It's okay if there's anybody in the room that's still deliberating and not sure if it's the right fit yet. Not everybody decides that quickly, but thank you so much for sharing that. And Joe, I'm really curious, what questions or concerns did you have about returning to school?
For me, as an international student, my question was not only returning to school, but study abroad to a different country. So I'm not quite certain in terms of if I will be able to fit in the Canadian culture, for example. And then I did a little bit of research about how diversified Canadian population is as immigration country, and also the Multicultural Policy Act. So it really embraces people from different cultural backgrounds and also from different kind of backgrounds in general. So that's why I feel like maybe I could give it a try to apply for school in Canada. And then returning school for me means that I might have to balance, maybe I could delve into it later, balance my work, home and school. So that was my concern too, but it's all manageable, I would say, in general. So I'll delve into that question later.
Thank you for sharing your kind of initial concerns and questions that you had. And Andrew, how about yourself? What questions or concerns did you have about returning to school?
I think I had a couple of maybe practical concerns, just like, would I be able to fit sort of my work, studies, life balance together? Would I be able to manage that? I think the biggest thing, though, for me, though, was when I was just getting ready as the course started, and then before the first residency, there's a little bit of apprehension because I thought, what am I going to bring to this program, to my cohort? And I felt like I had a bit of just imposter syndrome, or whatever that might be, like how I wasn't, I would be surrounded by all these super talented, qualified, amazing people, and they would just, and I wouldn't be able to compete or to be at their level. And I think I just had these, thoughts in my head, and I thought they were silly. As soon as I got there, we just made really great, solid, wonderful friendships. And we were all like, some of us shared a lot of like our professional trajectories and a lot of sort of common themes to our backgrounds. And immediately those concerns just evaporated. So it was just a bit about like what the relationships were going to be like with the cohort. And then from, day one, we just gelled, and it was really a rewarding experience. And so those concerns just went away.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I know a lot of people do approach kind of the application or the program sometimes with a bit of an imposter syndrome feeling of like, am I enough? Am I going to fit in? And I think a lot of us feel that way. So thank you for sharing that was a concern of yours. And jumping in, Andrew, I'd love to hear more then about what was the most rewarding part of the program once you did jump into the program, and what were some of the challenging parts of the program?
The most rewarding probably were the relationships, actually. That's just naturally sort of what interests me, are the interpersonal relationships that get formed. And the cohort program itself, I think, was maybe its greatest strength. The instructors were fabulous. The courses were interesting, and I it's been 10 years, right, for me, and so I look at the courses and the way Zhenyi has outlined them, and I think now I want to go back because it's like a totally different degree. But it's absolutely fascinating material. But I think it was the individuals that I was with in my cohort, and we just had. Maybe last month in July, we had a 10-year reunion, just a Zoom reunion. And it was like we just stepped back into the classroom together, and it was just absolutely fabulous. So the cohort was, I think, the most rewarding experience. I did get the opportunity to pursue some of those interests that I had developed over the years before the program. I was able to apply some of that into the courses and into the ways in which I could complete some of the assignments, and that was particularly rewarding as well, because you do have to personalize it, and you do have to make it your own. And I think that the program I was in certainly had that flexibility, which was really important. Challenging wise, there are working weekends, right, where I had to work. I had day jobs, I had teaching, and I had my assignments and my teamwork to do. And so the greatest challenge is just having that support network in your life where you can just feel that you can manage all the asks, all the complicated requirements that sometimes happen when you do these kinds of programs. But it worked out in the end. It's just a little bit of organization up front, I think, and just making sure that the people in your support network are fully aware of what you're doing and what they need from you to be successful.
Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. And Joe, how about yourself? What were some of the most rewarding parts of the program and some of the most challenging parts of the program?
I would say the most rewarding part of the program is the knowledge that I gained throughout the program. Especially, as I said earlier, I learned systemically the academic knowledge about intercultural communication theories, and also I obtained analytical skills on conducting research and methodologies and methods. And in the process, I gradually and progressively developed my research interest, and I applied for a PhD at the very end of the program. So that was an important piece and rewarding piece to me and also to my life. And also one thing that I wanted to point out is the support from the faculty members as well. So every single course that I took, the instructor and also the faculty members, they are very supportive. At the very beginning, when I was wondering if I wanted to explore my future career into kind of working with PhD full-time student again, I asked several instructors from the program. Every single of them provided their very profound suggestions and advice to me, and also they really guide me through and navigated my interest, my research interest, and really kind of solidize my research interest into a statement. So it's all about how to support me as a student and how to support me as a person. So it was really an embracing experience that I got from the faculty member. It was so homey and so warm. And also the most challenging part, as I said, because I was in China, so the educational system in China is totally different from the Canadian education system here. So the first course that I took, I was really delightful in terms of how it's a student-centered teaching and learning approach. So every student has their voice to express their concerns, their questions. You never got behind. Instructors will try to be inclusive in terms of engaging with every single student throughout the discussions, throughout the course conversations, or even offline emails. They respond quickly. So that was very supportive, even though I have concern. And also the other part of it is the readings. So the course that I took, because it's a master's program, you are expecting to read weekly from one course about 3 to 5 articles. That's I would say that's basic expectations that students will need to kind of go through when you're entering a master's program. Not all the courses were like that, but some of the courses, they are like that because, for example, the methodology courses, you have to really start from scratch for many of us. I was one of them because I never got to learn methodology courses that systemically. So it was new to me, so that was a challenging thing. But again, the faculty members, they're very supportive. When you send them an email expressing your concerns, they will support you. They will really ask how I could better help you. So that was really kind of supportive as an international student when you are entering a new kind of educational system. So everything was gradually solved, and I really enjoyed the program as well.
If I may, I'm going to just jump in. I just want to echo a comment. So Joe, you had described Royal Roads as homey and warm, right? I believe. And having studied at a number of campuses across Canada and having worked in a few of them as well, Royal Roads has a homey, warm feeling like no other. And I really felt that as soon as I was there, that it felt like home, right? It had that ambience and that environment and that support, and like it was the blend of the location and Victoria itself and the instructors and the program and all the steps leading up to it, that I really did feel supported, and it was like a family, like that kind of a feeling. And so I would say that that is definitely one of the most rewarding experiences, was just that feeling, that support as I entered into the program, but also when I was there too. It's an absolutely fabulous place to be, truly.
And one thing I wanted to add on top of that is the connection with the industry and employment opportunities that the program was considering throughout the 2 years graduate studies. So I remember the program invited people, managers or heads of different industries to organize kind of session to us to explain how the kind of Canadian workplace is like, and also what are the kind of tricks or myths when you're applying for a job in Canada. And that was really helpful because I know some of my cohort, they apply for the job through that connection. So that really was important to lead them to their future career. And also there are some courses that are designed for very practical skills for your future, to prepare for your future employment. I remember there was a course about field study, or it was a field study. So we had an instructor from the community organization, which provided strong comprehensive knowledge for us to kind of understand what the nonprofit organization is like if you are looking for jobs in those areas and organizations. So that was very important, because I know some of my cohorts or classmates, they went into the nonprofit after their graduate. So it's really different layers of multifaceted support that I got from the program, and also my classmates as well.
Thank you for adding that, and thank you for sharing your experience with just feeling that sense of place and that sense of home and welcoming. That's so important. And I know that we all want that feeling when we go somewhere. So thank you for sharing that. And a bit more, Joe, I would be interested to know, how did you balance your work, your home, your school, like all of those different things? How did you balance it? And do you have any tips for people in the room looking to balance those same things?
Yeah, so as I said, I was an international student. So for me, it was more so how to deal with homesickness when you are away from your family, and also how did you deal with your school, because I wasn't working at that time. I was a full-time student. So I would say my knowledge that I learned from the program directly support me to deal with my homesickness, because I know it's a roller coaster kind of experience. Sometimes you feel very kind of really missing your family, and you because they are all in the virtual space, you don't get to see them in person in quite a long time. But then at the same time, the program is really engaging. You never get the chance after a couple of months being part of the program, you never get a chance to feel that very strong kind of homesickness, because you are busy with your school. And also the program provided us with different kind of events. I remember they invited Indigenous scholars to different sessions to introduce Indigenous culture. And also there are field trips that we went to Vancouver to kind of visit art museums. And then also we explore the nature. So those kinds of events really support to fulfill your heart when you are feeling you're not belonging to Canada or something. But then those events and courses were really helpful to support you to overcome those feelings. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think a lot of us are really now familiar with Zoom in the virtual space and missing our family, even if they're actually pretty close by. So we're all ready for that. And Andrew, how did you balance work, home, and school?
So I was working full-time when I essentially started the program, and then I secured full-time employment. And I was just totally upfront with my manager, who was very supportive. So my manager at the time, I said, this is the program that I remember in the job interview, actually, for this, I was working in not-for-profit for newcomer services as an employment advisor. And at the job interview, I said, this is the program I'm taking, this is why I'm taking it, and I think this is why it's going to support me in the position. And I got the job, and my manager was like very interested in the program. I think just in the interview, I could see just in the reactions. From then on, I think my manager knew going in that I was part of the program, and very supportive in terms of securing time off for residencies, making sure that my schedule was flexible enough that if I needed a little bit of time to work with a team or something like that, I had it. But it was just all about open communication. And so that was really important for my work life. For home, I had a very supportive spouse. A spouse who understood the demands of academics and higher education. And I said, there's going to be, in this 2-year period, there's going to be some time when I'm not home, and there are other times when I'm required to do schoolwork on the weekends or evenings or whatever have you. Just having just really upfront conversations prior to starting the program of what might life look like for those 2 years. And school, balancing school, it was just the team. Like, I had really strong team members when I worked with team projects and solo. I mean, I had when it was an individual task or assignment or a kind of more individual, a course that required more individual work, I managed it okay. But it's because of the supports I had at home and work that really provided me that support to balance everything. And I did. And I found that there weren't, looking back on the experience, I don't think that there were too many super stressful moments. I think that there's just a little bit of stress in any kind of academic program that you do, because you're juggling a lot. But really, I felt that I had wonderful instructors who were always available, and we could talk about anything that was going on confidentially. And I think my team members were also supportive, because we were all sort of professionals going through the program together. So that was really important to managing the work-life balance. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Andrew, for sharing that. So we have our last question here, and we're going to be moving on to our how to apply section of the presentation. So quickly, I was just wondering if you had any final advice, Andrew, for people in the room or people listening to the recording, for someone considering this program.
The program, I absolutely enjoyed the program personally, because it just matched my interests and what I was interested in. Professionally, the program, I believe, like that interview experience I just relayed to you, and then all the other parts of my career, all the other moments in my career in higher ed or not-for-profit, have always, I felt, I've been successful in those careers and in those positions because of this graduate program. It really did inform my professional trajectory, not in the classroom, but like in admin, in higher education, and in the not-for-profit sector. So you can connect this degree, it can inform your professional trajectory across a number of different ways. So I would say, take a look at the program, really kind of take a moment and imagine what sort of professional trajectory you'd like to be on, and see how the program can support you in that. I would say too, this is just a personal thing, I didn't spend enough time considering the research trajectory, like the research program or the project program. And 10 years later, I regret not doing the research program, because I now am in a position in life where I want to do research-based programs to further my education. And I look back and I thought, darn, I should have done a research-based program within the Intercultural MA. So I would say to anyone in starting the program, have some great conversations with the faculty members and with other students. with alumni and just see if you are indeed interested in that research route or the program route. Both are rewarding, and I absolutely enjoyed the program route. But now I'm thinking, oh, I know what I would do for a research project now, and I think that that is what I would like to have anyone thinking about joining the program is just really consider which route you'd like to take and how the routes would support you professionally.
Thank you for sharing that, Andrew. And now you know in about a year or two, you're going to have a bunch of people who attended this session reaching out to you to talk more about the research versus the project route.
Absolutely, for sure.
And how about yourself, Joe? Do you have any final advice for the people in the room or someone considering the MAIIC?
My advice is concise and short. So my advice would be that be aware that you will start the most beautiful, delightful, inspiring journey that empowers your life once you get into the program. It's rewarding, and you will know it once you get into it.
That is great advice. I want to thank you both for taking the time to be with us here today. I think everybody in the room should give you a big virtual round of applause. Thank you for sharing all of this today. We really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Now I'm going to jump into how to apply, because I know everybody here in the room is probably ready to apply. So how to apply. And I should mention as well, the alumni are sticking around. So if you have any questions for them, you can pop them in the chat, and Andrew and Joe can answer through the chat. So feel welcome to do that. So with this program, through our standard admissions, we do require completion of 4-year or comparable undergraduate degree from a recognized post-secondary institution, evidence of having sufficient knowledge, skills, and abilities to complete a demanding academic course of study at a master's level. And I know Andrew and Joe talk more about what that requires, and work or volunteer experience is an asset. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a flexible admission policy because we understand that everyone here is coming from a different path and different life experiences. So our flexible admission is applicants without an undergraduate degree, but more than 3 years of credits of relevant post-secondary education, should have at least 3 years of relevant work experience, and preferably in a leadership capacity. And applicants with 2 to 3 years of relevant post-secondary education should have at least 5 years of relevant work experience in a leadership capacity. And applicants with less than 2 years of relevant post-secondary education should have at least 10 years of high-level professional communication experience in a leadership capacity. And I also wanted to mention that we assess every single person's application case by case. So don't self-select yourself out, reach out to enrollment, reach out if you have questions of whether or not you're eligible for the program. And we have all of this listed on our website as well, so you can go through it requirement by requirement to see if it's a fit. We also have an English language requirement. So English is the primary language at Royal Roads University. So if English is not your primary language, you must meet our English language requirement through one of 3 ways: submission of an official English language proficiency score, graduation from a college or university at which English is the primary language of instruction in an English-speaking country, and completion of a pathway program through the Global Learning and Language Center at Royal Roads. If you have any questions about whether or not you're eligible for the English language requirement or how best it would fit for you to complete it, just connect with us. I know Alana's in the room as well if you have any questions about this in the chat. Okay, so how to apply. We have an online application process, and basically you're going to create an account on our website and you're going to pay a fee of $128.81 exactly to the penny. And you're going to start your application. In addition to your application, we do require supporting documents like official transcripts. So what we mean by official transcripts is any and all of your post-secondary institutions currently or previously attended. So you need your transcripts from them sent to us. And it's only considered official if it's sent to us by the institution in a sealed envelope, or from a recognized institution sent to us by email. And that's something that we're accepting now due to the current pandemic situation. In addition, a structured resume. So this resume is kind of beyond what you would use to apply for a job. It's really quite detailed. And my biggest recommendation is to go onto our website, go onto the how to apply and go onto the specific requirements for the MAIIC and follow the structured resume requirements just like it's an assignment. Like it's going to ask you questions like your education, your professional experience, any voluntary unpaid work, or any professional memberships or affiliations, and any relevant information. We just want to get to know you. We want to know more about you, and this is how we do it. We also require a personal statement. So in many ways, this is your why for applying to the program, more about you, why it's a fit for you, and what you're going to bring to the cohort, and your career trajectory afterwards. Like, and honestly, a lot of people tell us that the personal statement really helps them solidify like what their goals are, what they're wanting to get out of the program. And a bit of a pro tip is share your personal statement, write it first, and then share it with the people that you need the 2 letters of reference from, because it's going to then inform them why you're applying for the program so they can best write about you and write your reference. So we do require 2 letters of reference from an academic and a professional reference. There's more details on our website about this, but like I mentioned, write your personal statement first and then share it with your references. Awesome. And if you do have any questions about how to apply, connect with an enrollment advisor. They're here to support this process. Okay, so key dates. We always keep our website up to date, so check our website if you're curious if any application deadlines have moved. But the key dates for our on-campus program, the 2022 fall intake, the start date is September 5th, 2022, so that's about a year from now. The application deadline is June 6th, 2022. For our blended program, our spring intake of 2022 is March 7th, 2022, that's the start date, and our application deadline is December 7th, 2021. So that's a few months away from now. And if you're interested in doing the GCSGC, the spring intake for that, our start date is March 7th, 2022, and the application deadline is the same as our MAIIC, which is December 7th, 2021. And we understand that education is a big investment. It really is. So what I recommend is you connect with financial aid while you're doing your application, kind of while you're entering the program, because they can speak to you about different things like loans, awards, scholarships, and other funding. So check them out on our website. You can always set up an appointment with them, and they're really a helpful resource. And application support, as you've got to know our enrollment advisors in the chat, they're there to help you with things like program details, application process walkthrough, more about our standard and flexible admission and whether or not it's a fit for you, and transfer agreements, all of those different things. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And this is their contact information. So if you're within Canada and a domestic student, you want to reach out to learn.more@royalroads.ca. And if you're coming internationally, you want to reach out to learn.more.international@royalroads.ca.